Welcome back to the Actery Magic channel. I'm Steve, the Actery. Today, we're going to talk about the #1 card for the last 2 years of the 30-day 30 Commander Challenge. And this is excluding the actual #1, which has recently been banned. And that is, drumroll please, Kenrith, the Returned King. If you don't know, Golos was recently banned. He was #1 until he was banned, but Kenrith is the reigning champion. He is the king. Anyway, so he's really cool. He offers so much utility. If you want to play him fair, you can, and he'll still do really good. We don't like playing fair at this channel. If you're playing fair, you're doing it wrong. Anyway, so Kenrith, the Return King, is a 5-drop. 1 white, 4 generic, 5/5. Good stats, by the way. Human Noble. 1 red. All creatures gain trample and haste until end of turn. Trample and haste. Whoa. All right. 1 green, 1 generic. Put a 1 counter on target creature. Cool. A white and 2 generic. You get target player gains 5 life. A blue, 3 generic. Target player draws a card. A black, 4 generic. Put target creature card from a graveyard on a battlefield under its owner's control. So you can't go and return your opponent's creature from their graveyard under your control. It's okay. All right. Now let's talk about it. Honorable mentions, just because I think he deserves a slot. This guy gets no love, and that is Garth, 1-eye. All right, so he's Warburg, green, red, blue, black, white, 5/5, human wizard, tap. Choose a card that hasn't been chosen from among Disenchant, Brain Geyser, Terror, Shivan Dragon, Regrowth, and Black Lotus. Create a copy of the card with the chosen name. You may cast the copy. You still pay its cost. This guy puts Black Lotus into play. Why aren't we playing him? He's cool. And I think he's like a 50-cent card by now. Anyway, I really like Garth 1-eye. I've actually done a whole video on him. Go check it out. Anyway, number 6 on our list. I really like Bloom Tender. It's a green and 1 generic. It says for each color among permanents you control, add 1 green of that color to your mana pool. I think this is a great card. Bloom Tender, I mean, I think it's like a $30 card. It's pretty ridiculous. But so good, easy to play in here, and you're going to have every color permanent at some point in this deck. Incubation Druid is 1 green, 1 generic. Tap, add a mana of any color that a land you control could produce. Any color. If Incubation has a 1/1 counter on it, add 3 of that type instead. All right, so we can adapt for a double green and 3 generic, or we can just use Kenrith to give it a 1/1 counter. Saying. All right, now let's talk about number 5, Dryad Elizine Grove and Chromatic Lantern. Basically, both of these fix our mana to be whatever color we want, our mana base to be any color we want. So Dryad Elizine Grove is a green and 2 generic. Nymph, you may play an additional land on each of your turns. Cool. Lands you control are every basic land type in addition to their other types. So they now tap for any color. Chromatic Lantern is a 3-drop artifact creep. Lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. So it's a mana rock on its own. It fixes your mana. Both of these, super good. All right, number 4 on our list, Illusionist Bracers. It's a 2 generic, equipped for 3. Whenever an ability of equipped creature is activated, if it isn't a mana ability, copy that ability. You may choose new targets for that copy. Everything on Kenrith is an activated ability. It's going to get copied with Illusionist Bracers every time we pay for one. Very cool, very powerful, lots of value. Number 3 on our list, let's untap our lands, shall we? Wilderness Reclamation is a green and 3 generic. It says at the beginning of your end step, untap all lands you control. If you haven't played with this card in any deck, you should. Because being able to resolve something on your turn and then get all that mana back at the end of your turn so that now you can respond to whatever's going on at the table before your turn comes back around, it is so unbelievably powerful, just on its own. But with Kenrith, it's doubly so. We get to resolve our creature, get to resolve our enchantment, whatever it is, then we get that mana back to be able to activate Kenrith. Wilderness Reclamation is choice. Seedborn Muse is that on steroids. Double green, 3 generic spirit. Untap all permanents you control during each other player's untap step. Wow. It's fantastic. So every turn, you can just tap out at the end of somebody's turn, do a bunch of stuff with Kenrith, and then the next turn begins, and Seedborn Muse untaps all your mana. Fantastic. You do that 3 times around the table, you're going to have such a huge advantage, they're not going to know what to do with you. All right, number 2A on our list. What? We have 2A and 2B. What? All right, Biomass is familiar as a green and a blue, a mutant 2/2. Activate abilities of creatures you control cost 2 less to activate. This effect can't reduce the amount of mana and ability costs to activate less than 1 mana. Okay, cool. Tap. The next time target creature adapts this turn, it adapts as though it had no 1/1 counters on it. We don't really care. We don't really. Okay, Zerta Dawnwaker, sorry. It's a hybrid Boros, 1 generic elemental fox. Companion, we don't care. Activated abilities you activate that. Ugh. Activated abilities that you activate that aren't mana abilities cost 2 generic less to activate. This effect can't reduce the mana cost in that cost to less than 1 mana. Wait, pay 1. Fire creature can't block this turn. Okay, cool, whatever. But Zerta, it's just so good to be able to reduce the mana cost of all of our activated abilities. Similarly, let's look at this. Hearthstone. The cost of each creature ability requiring an activation cost is reduced by 1 generic. This cannot reduce an ability's generic mana cost to less than 1 generic. That's awesome. Training Grounds. Again, activate abilities of creatures you control cost up to 2 less to activate. This effect can't reduce it to less than 1. Awesome. All of these are just so good. The one that's like Hearthstone is kind of an unsung hero in this because it doesn't really care what color mana you have, so long as you just have 3 mana. It's great. And then number 1 on our list, drum roll, please. Carpet of Flowers. 1 green enchantment. It says during your main phase, you may add up to X mana of 1 color to your mana pool, where X is the number of islands target opponent controls. Oh, you're playing control. Be a shame if I outvalued you every turn. And it says any color. So we can just add whatever we want. Say we're not even going to really use it on anything. We can just add it to our mana pool to get either to cast Kenrith or to use one of his abilities. Perfect. All right. All right, let's get into our infinite combos, shall we? I like this one. This one's kind of funny. Dockside Extortionist, and Emil the Blessed. So I don't think I've seen this a whole lot in my commander group. So for a red and a generic, you get Dockside Extortionist. It creates X treasure tokens where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control. Cool. Emil the Blessed. It's a 4-drop 4/4 unicorn, double white, 2 generic. It says 3 generic. Exile another target creature you control, then return to the battlefield under its control. So if your opponents have at least 4 artifacts and or enchantments in some combination, Dockside Extortionist and Emil the Blessed go infinite. You create infinite mana of any color to your mana pool at instant speed. It's so good. Emil, I'm super excited to see Emil and Dockside Extortionist. All right, but another way that we can include to go infinite in this deck with infinite mana, and then we just win from there, is Feyburrow Elder, and Free from the Real. Feyburrow Elder is a green, a white, and 1 generic 0/0 Treefolk Druid. Vigilance. It gets 1/1 for each color among permanents you control. So on its own, nothing else out, it's a 2/2 because it's a green-white. Tap. For each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana of that color. As soon as you enchant Feyburrow Elder with Free from the Real, Feyburrow Elder is going to tap for 3 mana. A blue, a white, and a green. Now you use the blue to untap the enchanted creature with Free from the Real. And then you add infinite green and white mana to your mana pool. So you tap, untap, tap, untap, tap, tap. Anyway, thank you so much for coming out today. This was a great challenge. It was a lot of work. Thank you so much for showing up and hanging out. I love you. Have a good day. Where's my button?